Have you ever asked yourself this? What's the real difference between qualitative and quantitative risk assessment? When should I use the one instead of the other? If you have ever felt unsure about the difference, this video is your roadmap. By the end of this video, you will not only know the difference, but you will also know exactly when and why to choose each approach. Before we even talk about qualitative versus quantitative, let's get this clear. What actually is risk assessment? It's not about filling forms or ticking boxes. Risk assessment is a decision-making tool. It helps you answer three core questions. What could go wrong? How bad could it be? And what can we do about it? And here is the part people forget. It's not about just being compliant on paper. It's about communicating risk clearly enough that the person responsible actually takes action. It's about making and taking informed decisions to protect lives, projects, and reputations. As a health and safety professional, your role isn't just to identify hazards, it's to make sure the risk is understood, communicated, and controlled using the right tools. And that's where qualitative and quantitative risk assessments comes in. So what's the difference between qualitative and quantitative risk assessments? Qualitative risk assessment uses descriptive scales like low, medium, high to express risk based on expert judgment. It's the kind of assessment you are probably already doing, maybe without realizing it. For example, you walk past a scaffold, you notice a minor scratch on the base plate. You judge it as low risk. When you see a missing toe board on a working platform, that's a medium risk, needs attention soon. But when you spot a loose or unstable joint where someone is already working, that's a high risk and you have to act immediately. You are making a quick judgment based on what you see, know, and experience. This is qualitative. On the other hand, quantitative risk assessment uses numerical data and probability models to calculate risk. It's data-driven and precise. It's like a doctor calculating the exact probability of surgery success. Out of 100 people, 95 had successful surgery. That's not a guess. It's based on real data from past cases. This is how quantitative risk assessment works. It uses numbers to measure risk. So if you ever need to defend your decision to the management or to an auditor, quantitative risk assessment gives you bulletproof backup. Qualitative risk assessment you should use in situations such as daily site inspections, toolbox talks, small scale routine activities, tasks with limited or no data. Why? Because they are fast and scalable and easy to explain to your team. For example, installing ceiling tiles. You might rate the following object risk as medium and implement control measures like exclusion zones and PP. It's not about pinpointing exact possibilities, but about acting quickly and proactively. And of course, it's based on person's perception or judgment. And here is something I personally do. I use qualitative methods for observation reports. Why? Because they make reports easy to understand and easier to act on. Quantitative risk assessment is often used when you are dealing with high-risk activities, you have access to solid data, and when you need to make defensible, high-impact decisions. For clarity, imagine this. You are performing a risk assessment of an activity in a complex workplace where a ladder is to be used. Let's say you had ladder-related incidents across 10 projects in similar activity. You find that 5 out of 10 times workers using ladders for more than 2 hours a day experienced a fall. That's a 50% of probability. Now let's look at severity. In 2 cases, workers had minor injuries such as bruises or sprains. But in 3 cases, the falls led to serious injuries like broken bones or head trauma, requiring to hospitalization and off time from work. So, when planning a work where the same type of ladder will be used in the same way, you can assess the risk as likelihood is 50%, which is based on past data, and severity is high and you can rate it as 4 out of 5 because the consequences were serious in most cases. That's how quantitative risk assessment works. Of course, it demands expertise and data. So which one should you choose? Here is a simple way to decide. If you have limited data, go with qualitative risk assessment. It helps to make decisions based on expert judgment and observation. If you are dealing with complex systems or big risks, then you need the depth of quantitative assessment to back your decisions with numbers. If you are short on time and need quick answers, qualitative is faster and easier to apply. For everyday routine tasks, qualitative is usually more practical and efficient. But when you are making high impact decisions, ones that could affect lives, cost a lot of money, and harm your reputation, quantitative assessment gives you stronger justification. My closing thought is, as a safety professional, your job is to protect people intelligently. Choosing between qualitative and quantitative risk assessment is not just about tools, it's about judgment. Whether an immediate action required or an informed decision is required. One gives you speed, the other gives you depth. If this helped you, share it with your safety teams. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. I will read and reply to everyone. And if you want more practical real world safety insights, you are in the right place. Stay sharp, stay safe. This is Anup from HSC Scholar. See you in the next one.